Hi guys, and welcome back to SwitchUp. So we have probably one of the best upcoming weeks we've seen in a long time, which is really quite a nice thing to say.
Yeah, there's a couple of very decent games coming, a couple of odd ones, shall we say, and because the day of the week ends in a Y, there's a Kemco release as well. Let's have a look, shall we?
Okay, so the first game on our list is the wonderful Spyro Remaster that wowed everyone because they stuck to the original game concept and ideas, but just tweaked the visuals to make them really stand out on the modern consoles.
Yeah, I've never played Spyro, I never had a PlayStation back in the day, so I'd be really interested to see how this turns out. One thing I will mention, I was just saying to Mark earlier, if you are planning on getting the physical release of this game, as far as I've heard, only the first game actually comes on the cartridge and the other two will be downloads, which is unfortunate and seems to be a practice that's becoming more common on the Switch.
This is one of those moments, Glenn. You've never played Spyro. Good lord.
I went from Super Nintendo to Nintendo 64, so I missed out that era completely, which is nice. It's almost like a surprise, isn't it? You're getting to experience these things for the first time.
I reckon if you drew a line through the consoles that we've both played, we've pretty much covered everything. Staying in the good games category, we have Torchlight II releasing next week as well, and this is another one we'll be covering. Now this is an ARPG in the style of perhaps a Diablo 2. It was a very critically acclaimed game when it released way back in 2015. I say way back, it's only a few years. Now this has 4-player co-op gameplay and could be a real rival for the likes of Diablo on Switch. Let's just hope the port comes out okay.
Yeah, it released back in 2012 on Windows and has come out on other systems since, and obviously it's now the Switch's turn to receive such a game. I played the first one on the Xbox 360 and really enjoyed it actually. I'm not someone that's played many Diablo type games, and this one was a very pleasant surprise to me, so I'm very interested to see what the second one has in store. Next game then is a game called River City Girls by WayForward. Now this is part of the Kunio-kun series, with the first one otherwise known as River City Ransom, and is a beat 'em up, but in this new game you play as the girlfriends trying to rescue your boyfriends. Bit of role reversal. I played the original River City Ransom on the NES and absolutely loved it. It was a great beat 'em up game with some light RPG elements as well. You visited towns and you could buy items or new moves to help you get through the game. I will be reviewing this one for the channel and I'm very much looking forward to it.
These are the things that we have done tonight. It's a mystery that we never took a chance before. I'm looking at you and you're looking at me, and all of a sudden it rains over me. All we ever wanted was crossing our ways tonight.
Next up then we have a game called Space Cows, which looks to be a 2D twin-stick shooter that resembles Earthworm Jim perhaps, with a touch of 3D thrown in. This kind of intrigued both of us. I like the look of this and I enjoy it when a developer tries to at least inject some humour to make their game stand out.
Yeah, we saw this one running at EGX a while ago now. It also reminds me a little bit of a game from ages ago called Boogerman. Do you remember that one at all? It just has that zany, toilety humour look to it as well, but as you say, that's not always a bad thing, to be fair.
But please just have in mind it will only last for a while. I'm calling on you and you echo me back. We're coming to terms that it's all we can do. Oh, 'cause all we ever wanted was changing our lives tonight.
Okay, so the next game is called Spice and Wolf. I know I said all the games on the list were amazing, I cannot guarantee this is one of them, but it intrigues me. It has that very interesting idea that you've all seen in many games. A couple get stranded in a barn during a thunderstorm and by the looks of it spend a long time there. You like the look of this one, don't you, Glenn? Be honest.
Yeah, see, when I imagine a game where you get trapped out in the wilderness somewhere in a cabin, I think of something like Until Dawn on the PS4, you know, that horror game? Not bloody Spice and Wolf. It's a VR game apparently, but it can be enjoyed, so says the blurb, without Toy-Con VR goggles.
If anyone needs me next week, I'll be in the cupboard, set of Toy-Cons on, playing Spice and Wolf VR. The next game is called Creature in the Well, which is another one we'll be reviewing on the channel. I say we, it's actually our good friend Chicken Perm who's badgering away in the background doing this one. This has a really interesting concept. It combines a top-down RPG with pinball, believe it or not. And look, we've seen a few crossovers like Yuko's Island Express do this really well. This could be a good one.
Yeah, we had a quick go on this, didn't we? I would say it was a bit more hack and slash than RPG, but as you say, there will be a review for this one up soon. Okay, next game then is NBA 2K20, which is the third, I believe, in the series to hit the Switch now. I'll start with a positive, and I'll say that it's nice to see this series being taken seriously so far, in that the full game has come to the Switch. When you compare it to something like FIFA, where the series seems to get filtered or watered down every time. One thing that's worth mentioning, I think it's probably the same as the other two versions, is that it does warn you, or remind you if you like, that you do need a micro SD card. The system memory will not be enough to house this game, and it will automatically put 5 gig of that onto your system memory, so just be aware of that.
We might get a code for this one, and if we do, we'll try and get you some idea of how the game performs and everything like that. But one to look out for fans, for sure. The next title is called Gun Pixies, and puts you in a high school with a sniper rifle that fires, and I quote, happy bullets. You get arrested for that.
Yeah, to elaborate further, you play as a pixie or pixies from another planet, of course, with your happy bullet firing gun, and you must obtain information about the human race by shooting said happy bullets at them. That says it all really, doesn't it? It's a third person shooter. There are a couple of games like this on the Switch already. There was another one called Gun Gals, I think it was called. If you like these sort of games, it's £44.99, which is quite expensive. Although again, there is a physical version coming, and these things drop in price pretty sharpish. It's
times like this where I feel like Lawrence Fishburne's going to walk in and tell me to like take the red or the blue pill, because this is am I awake? £44.99, good lord.
Right, next one we're going to have a look at is a game called Remothered, Tormented Fathers, which is a psychological horror game and is part of a planned trilogy. Now, I've just had a read through the blurb. One thing I will say, this is not a knock at this game necessarily, it's just something that we've thought for a little while now. Some of the blurbs on the eShop, the writing is very, very obtuse, isn't it? I really do think there's something that they need to think about. It's hard to just pick out the key points of what a game's about. Anyway, I do digress. It says that psychology is a major part of this game. It promises movie-like cutscenes, puzzle-based environments, and a top-notch soundtrack.
Yeah, we've seen a few good horror ports on the Switch, like the Outlast series, so I think this definitely could be one you enjoy, Glenn. I will leave this one to you.
Final game for you then is a game called Blasphemous, which is coming via Team 17. Going purely off the screenshots alone, my first thought was something like Super Ghouls and Ghosts. However, it does mention in the blurb that it's non-linear, so we're maybe leaning more towards a Metroidvania. The game seems to really want to promote its combat system, and when you watch the trailer again, that is something that features very heavily, and the pixel art is very impressive.
Yeah, the game it most reminds me of in terms of styling is maybe a Slain, but there's also a sequel to Slain made by the same developer. It's not a sequel, it's his next game, and that's called Valfaris, and looks very similar in terms of just the best use of pixel art. Thanks so much for watching the channel, guys. We really do appreciate it as we creep our way towards 50,000 subs. Remember, we are giving away 67 games at the moment to our patrons. If you want to join them, yes, it's a shameless plug, but if you want to join them, then now is the time to do so. Thanks to the rest of you who support us by your comments down below in the chat, and for all things Switch all the time, keep it Switch up.
Good one. Yeah, I think that says it all, doesn't it? Alright, take it easy. Happy gaming.
See ya!